She's fantastic. I knew she'd be a star. She could be great. She could be a major star.
When I was 6 years old, I watched the Madonna video from Material Girl, and it struck a chord with me because I saw her surrounded by all of these men, and I felt that should be me. I was aware of being queer from a very early age, so I think that was probably a pretty formative experience. I think I also remember thinking that the shoes weren't right, because she wears, I don't even know if you remember the video, she wears black shoes with a pink dress. So it wasn't entirely like I was in awe of her. I could also point out where I think she was getting it a bit wrong at the age of 6. There's a part of me that's a bit of a snob that wishes it wasn't Madonna that I was telling you about here, but she's the person who introduced me to Marilyn Monroe. So it's through pop culture that I went further back and took an interest in the golden age of Hollywood, if you like, later.
Please, Mr. Jailer, won't you let my man go free?
That was mostly just nightclub, fluff, as a way of presenting bits of music that I was making on a digital 4-track. And then 2 years after that, probably, once I'd found that I was interested in using found sound, that's when the video dimension came in. I got offered a gig at the Barbican Cinema. They host the London Australian Film Festival. They asked me to do a live performance as part of the gala screening. And because it was in the Barbican Cinema, I thought, well, it's silly not to use the screen.
Zing, Matilda, zing, Matilda, waltz with me. Matilda, zing, Matilda, zing, Matilda, waltz with me.
It wasn't a high-tech operation. I'd made it in my bedroom. I hung some red material on the back of my bedroom door. I'd found, because I had an Australian flatmate, what I thought was a really beautiful rendition of Waltzing Matilda, called the Queensland version. The idea was that it would be a split screen, like Edith Piaf meets the Brady Bunch, which I could achieve easily using a basic editing software on a PC. It was a bit of a love at first sight thing, yeah. I did think to myself, oh my God, why have I had this camera sitting gathering dust for so long when I can so easily just knock something out and, have fun. But it was primarily for my own amusement. There wasn't the same sort of pressure that you get 10 minutes before you go on stage when you're messing around with a video camera in your bedroom. The same night that I made Waltzing Matilda, I made another video which is I actually prefer, which is I call a self-portrait.
As man realizes that he's an accident and his futility, that he's a completely really futile being.
And that is one in which I take spoken word footage of Francis Bacon talking about 2 different paintings actually, from famous interviews, and I've edited it in such a way that it seems to be this kind of clown-like character who almost looks like a painting that's come to life, talking about a self-portrait.
It was a picture that I did in about a fortnight when I was in a bad mood of drinking, and I did it under tremendous hangovers and drink. I sometimes hardly knew what I was doing.
It says more about what I'm about than the Waltzing Matilda, because it's more rich in fabulation.
Because I believe that the drink helped me to be a bit freer.
It's been an ongoing project really to find the right characters to explore and try to find material to exploit, to tell a story about not so much actually Hollywood icons as the aspect of their dysfunctional so-called real-life scripts that we all in some way or another relate to, because I would suggest that they weren't unique in being addicts, people like Judy Garland and Marilyn Monroe and Michael Jackson, that we all are, but that our compulsions might not manifest in such extreme ways.
How do you find your way back in the dark?
I think that what the camera can do is speak in a language that people understand as belonging to these figures.
How do you know? I mean,
When you put a drag queen up on a cinema screen at 20 foot high, maybe there isn't that much difference between that drag queen and the Hollywood icon. I think what video does is it really can potentially open up new worlds that complement what's going on stage. It can elevate it. I think from being, you're in a nightclub, and then something happens on the screen. Maybe you add a bit of smoke with it, but the screen, I think, possibly can take you into a completely different space, like Marilyn's deathbed.
do you think 3 sleeping pills are enough?
Oh no, I'll never get home.
I'd like to give the opportunity for something to happen on the screen where I'm doing virtually nothing on stage, but also there are practical things to consider, like, well, if I have a video sequence at this moment, then I can go off stage and get changed.
Hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri calling again, the guy from the street. I left you a message several days ago. You said you were interested. Now, here's the way I work.
So retroflexion is a sort of performance/video essay originating from the myth of Narcissus and Echo with a modern twist. And for me, the key sequence is the sequence about Echo, in which I use a combination of the moving image, found sound and physical performance to create what I aim to be quite an affecting experience, and to render the sexual experience of an older woman, which is usually represented as something abject or ridiculous in popular culture, as something that is maybe quite beautiful instead.
Get my leg up and over you, sort of wound around you, so that we really sort of fuse. I like to rub my cheek against yours.
What was interesting to me about this sequence, and which excites me about the potential for the combination of video and live performance, is the fact that the live performance was abstracted in my willful blending of the different media. So, and part of this came from a conceptual experiment, really. I was sort of having fun with myself. So I used a stepladder to climb literally inside a literal projection. And the whole show, Retroflexion, the name comes from psychotherapeutic phraseology, meaning to turn back on oneself.
When I woke up this morning, I wished you were there, that we could just lie in here, watch the morning coming, this lightness coming, morning light. It's hard to tell at first whether it was going to be overcast or clear. And right now it looks like it's going to be a nice day. The skies are sort of a light grey with the sun behind them. And I just would have liked to have snuggled up to you, darling. Let you know that I want you to love me.
That sequence is one which I can't imagine happening only on film, or only on stage, or only on the radio. So that's the kind of future of what I hope to be able to do more of.
Before I started doing this. In the rockery, I've got a great clump of purple crocuses out. The other ones come out first. Now I've got purple ones.